problems in philosophy is the problem, how do we know that anything exists? How do we even know there is a world outside my mind? I look around and there's a world of tables and chairs and trees and buildings. How do I really know that any of it is real?
You wanted to know what the Matrix is, Neo? Trinity? Try to relax. This will feel a little weird. This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
If our universe is a computer program, then how would a God do it? What might God's source code look like? Science measures our universe in terms of mass, space, time, and charge. Obviously, we cannot measure the distance from Los Angeles to New York in kilograms or seconds, or weigh butter with meters or amperes. But gravity tells us that mass somehow affects space and time.
1. Mathematics is the language of nature. 2. Everything around us can be represented and understood through numbers. 3. If you graph the numbers of any system, patterns emerge. Therefore, there are patterns everywhere in nature.
Scientists make their computer simulations using numbers. But numbers have no meaning. Does this number count apples, or does it measure the speed of light? Perhaps God took geometrical objects instead of numbers and combined them all together like Lego blocks to build our universe with us as geometrical forms inside this world of geometrical forms. But then, where did these geometrical Lego blocks for mass, space, and time come from?
It was 6 men of Hindustan, to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, "God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall." The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, "Oh, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp? To me 'tis mighty clear. This wonder of an elephant is very like a spear." The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up he spake, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a snake."
Is the electron the elephant? For encoded into the electron is mass, space, time, and charge. If we replace the electron with this mathematical formula, the electron is just a formula. It has no units. Yet from this unitless electron, we can make meters, seconds, kilograms in this ratio. We can make mass, length, time, and charge as geometrical objects. Because from this mathematical electron, we can decode some of the source code of God. And create a mathematical world that is identical to our physical world.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
From the void God made the heavens and the earth. For zero is both nothing and the sum of everything. Then, by using this one, we can make mass, space, and time. Which means for the universe to create time, it also has to create mass and space to balance this ratio. And so, in the time it takes to read these words, the universe has to also grow in size and mass. Likewise, if time reversed, the universe would have to shrink until it disappears. But regardless of its size, the total universe always sums to zero.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
The Planck scale is such a tiny number that it is hard to wrap your mind around how small it is. But an analogy can help. If you were to take, say, an atom and magnify that atom to be as big as the size of the observable universe, that's a huge scale of magnification, then under that same scale of magnification, the Planck scale would turn into roughly the size of an average tree. So a tree is to the observable universe as the Planck scale is to an atom. That's how small it is, and that's why it's so challenging to observe any of the physical phenomena that we think may be taking place at the Planck scale. It's just so fantastically small.
And so, we may simply be data instead of a celestial computer, characters within a 3D video game.
There's a sort of a philosophic concept that a sufficiently advanced civilization will be able to create a simulation.
The strongest argument for us being in a simulation, probably being in a simulation, I think is the following. That 40 years ago, we had Pong, like 2 rectangles and a dot. That was what games were. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people playing simultaneously, and it's getting better every year. And soon we'll have virtual reality, we'll have augmented reality. If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then the games will become indistinguishable from reality. They'll be indistinguishable. Even if that rate of advancement drops by 1,000 from what it is right now, then you just say, okay, well, let's imagine it's 10,000 years in the future, which is nothing in the evolutionary scale. So given that we're clearly on a trajectory to have games that are indistinguishable from reality, and those games could be played on any set-top box or on a PC or whatever, and there would probably be, billions of such, computers or set-top boxes, it would seem to follow that the odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions.
So
tell me what's wrong with that argument.
Is the answer yes?
The argument is probably. I mean, but I just like, is there a flaw in that argument?
I mean, someone.
I'm not sure what the error.
No. The argument makes sense. So the assumption then is that somebody beat us to it, and this is a game.
No. There's a 1 in billions chance that this is base reality.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
Well, I think it's 1 in billions.
Okay.
If mass, space, and time are mathematical forms, then we are just a computer simulation. And so, who programmed us? And why?